How you doing? Welcome back to the Rev Fire Group Apparatus Conference and Expo. This week, we are highlighting the Ferrara brand in the Rev Fire Group. We had a great day yesterday. We got to check out two different rigs. We got to check out an HD 107 and a custom pumper available with the SAM system. That SAM system got a lot of attention yesterday. We had a lot of questions about it, and we'll be probably getting back into a little bit of that later on today. Just to take care of a little bit of housekeeping before we dive in. Just want to remind everybody we are coming to you live from 3 remote locations. So if we do happen to step on each other once in a while, it is not intentional. We're not being rude to our guests or anything like that. But we are sometimes on a delay. Picture ESPN's First Take with Stephen A. Smith trying to yell over Max Kellerman and vice versa, and you'll get a pretty good idea of what I mean. Also, wanted to just refresh everybody. We are following all the recommended guidelines for mask usage and social distancing on site, and wanted to also go over what we're going to be hitting on today. We've got 2 more Ferrara rigs today. One is an MVP rescue pumper. The other is a custom pumper delivery with the St. George Fire Department in Louisiana. From 11 to 2:30, we've got Rev showroom meetings available for you, but also make sure you take that opportunity to log back into the portal and take a look around. There's a lot of information there on rigs for this week, rigs that maybe we didn't cover this week. There's a lot of information from everything we hit on last week. If you missed anything yesterday or last week, you also will have access to all of our on-demand content. So make sure you also explore the portal. And from 2:30 to 3:30 today, we have a Rev webinar on financing apparatus and purchasing options. So before we dive into the videos, I wanted to introduce my guests today. Again, as yesterday, we have retired Battalion Chief from the Jersey City, New Jersey Fire Department, Bill Peters. He's our apparatus guru, and he's agreed to sit down with us this week to lend his insights into apparatus design and to draw on his many years of consulting with fire departments to help us along here. Also, with the Rev Fire Group, we first have Jason Luke. He is the Director of Sales for Ferrara. We have Paul Christensen. He is the Aerial Sales Manager for Ferrara. And at the booth, at the desk, we have Alyssa McGlone, who is the Director of Marketing. And we have Bert McCutcheon, who is the Vice President and General Manager. And Bert has a few words for us this morning from the Ferrara and the Rev Fire Group. Bert?
Hey, good morning, Chris and Bill. Yeah, we had a great day yesterday, so we appreciate you helping us out with that. We got to look at a lot of great trucks. We wanted to take a moment, too, that nice HD 107 truck we saw yesterday. We wanted to make sure we thank the Warminster, Pennsylvania Fire Department for allowing us to use that. So they've recently purchased that truck and want to make a few modifications, but we hope to get delivered to that real soon. So we appreciate them letting us use the truck. It showed very well. We're also excited because today we get to see one of our flagship products, the Ferrara MVP. Our Director of Sales, Jason Luke, will be going over that truck, and you're going to have to pay close attention because Jason has a slight accent and we weren't able to get subtitles, so we're going to be paying close attention to him today. And then also from the St. George Fire Protection District, a local customer to Ferrara, a very loyal customer. We're going to see one of their pumpers that uses some of the latest technology out. And Paul Christensen, who you know from all the videos and his perfect radio voice, is going to be going over that with us. So we also want to thank the Big Kahuna, Jerry Talton, for allowing us to use that truck for St. George. So we look forward to it, and we're ready to get started.
All right, perfect, Bert. Thank you very much. And for anyone who needs to, now is a good time to download any kind of translation app. You'll want to be going North Jersey to English or listening to Bill. And you'll be wanting to go from Louisiana to English, listening to Jason. So let's jump into our first video today, and that will be our MVP rescue pumper.
Ferrara's MVP heavy rescue pumper is really 2 trucks in one. First, it's a true custom pumper with a pump rateable up to 2250 GPM and a water tank up to 1,000 gallons and a 128 cubic foot hose bed. Second, it's a rescue truck with up to 600 cubic feet of usable storage, plus enclosed ladder and hook compartment. The MVP, or multivocational pumper, was designed with firefighter safety in mind, incorporating items such as frame rail height speedlays that can be deployed and reloaded while firefighters stand on the ground, and repacking is easy with removable hose trays. MVP compartments ahead of the rear wheel are lowered 3 inches to make it easier to retrieve heavy equipment. Firefighters can lift with their legs instead of their back. When climbing onto the top of the truck, there is a swing-out ladder with non-slip handrails and steps, so crew members can climb at an easy angle. The aluminum hosebed cover has a slip-resistant surface, so firefighters have a solid walk surface to access the large upper body compartments. The electric telescopic monitor is controlled at the left side pump panel, so crews don't have to go topside in order to flow the master stream. Built on a 208-inch wheelbase, the MVP's bumper swing turning radius is only 35 feet 2 inches, and the curb-to-curb radius is only 30 feet. This high degree of maneuverability is achieved through a 45-degree steering cramp angle using the Hendrickson SteerTech's front axle. The SteerTech comes with a parabolic front suspension for a super soft ride, and you get the low cost of ownership you'd expect from a straight beam-type front axle. The body is Ferrara's heavy-duty extruded aluminum with extruded subframe in all 3/16-inch thick marine-grade aluminum plate, compartments, hosebed sidewalls, running boards, and rear step. The left and right side compartments are full height and a full 27.5 inches deep top to bottom for plenty of storage. Over each pump panel is a transverse storage module for 3 backboards. The center portion of the module is easily removable. With that and the speedlay hose trays removed, you have unobstructed service access to the pump. Each of the 3 low-mount speedlays carry 200 feet of hose, 2 3/4 and 1 2.5 inch. The compartments above the speedlays are readily accessible with full-width platforms under both pump panels. The upper compartment on the driver's side is designed for stoke storage. The rear compartment is full height, and when the door is open, you can access Ferrara's ladders through the tank storage module. This stores the ladders and pike poles in an aluminum tube that runs the length of the booster tank and is supported front and rear so the contents of the compartment don't place any weight on the tank. The hose bed is oversized with over 100 cubic feet of storage, or enough to carry nearly 1,500 feet of 5-inch and 450 feet of 2.5 or 3-inch. To fight fire, there is a Hale QMax 2000 GPM pump, with the discharges all plumbed with stainless steel. All discharge valves are electric actuated and include a 2-inch front bumper outlet, 2 3/4 and 1 2.5-inch speedlay, a right side LDH discharge, a deck gun discharge, and a hosebed pre-connect. Both steamer inlets have a Hale master intake valve controlled at the panel. The poly water tank has a 1,000-gallon capacity. Thanks for watching our MVP video today. Let's quickly recap the highlights. This rescue pumper is built on Ferrara's heavy-duty Cinder custom chassis, powered with a Cummins L9 450 horsepower engine and Allison 3000 EVS transmission. It features Ferrara's E2020 electrical system with colored 3D indicator panels for door ajar and occupant not belted. Handling is a dream with the Hendrickson SteerTech front axle and 45-degree cramp angle. The cab is extended length, all 3/16-inch thick marine-grade aluminum with roll cage extruded aluminum subframe. It seats 6 and has IMMI Smart Dock hands-free SCBA brackets. The body is Ferrara's heavy-duty extruded aluminum with 600 cubic feet of storage, plus Ferrara's lattice through the tank storage module and a 100 cubic foot hose bed. The pump is a Hale QMax 2000 GPM and includes a 1,000 gallon poly tank, all electric valves, frame rail height speedlays, and a TFT electric monitor. The MVP is designed with firefighter safety in mind. Like what you see? Call your local Ferrara dealer today or send an email to the address listed at the bottom of the screen.
Well, the MVP is really a great concept. I saw it at FDIC, and I think that having the capabilities to do more with the personnel on scene is very important. As you know, especially in the volunteer service, membership is down. Getting people out is important. So having the tools to accomplish, whether it be a fire attack or an auto extrication, is really an important feature.
And not only that, but we're also, when we look at the pump panel on that rig, it's a very, very narrow pump panel, incorporating a lot of the things that we see these days and trying to keep that to a shorter wheelbase while still trying to put as much as possible. Now, hopefully Jason is over at the rig at this point. Bill and I both had a few questions that we wanted to ask you before we get into some of the Q&A from the audience. I guess just to get started, since we're right there at the cab, will Ferrara build an MVP on any cabin chassis across the product line?
Hey guys, yeah, of course we will. The Cinder, the Igniter, and an Inferno, we build on all those chassis. We got a lot of different arrangements. We're not locked into a raised roof like you see here. I mean, we can do flat roofs, we can do raised roofs. So there's a lot of applications we can do there.
And you mentioned SteerTech in the video. Is SteerTech, the two questions about SteerTech is it available on aerials as well? And is it available on any Ferrara chassis?
Yeah, we're very excited to have our relationship with SteerTech and Hendrickson. It's available on all our product line, aerials included.
Okay, now I want to let Bill jump in here because I know he has a number of questions before we get to the back of the truck. Bill, take it away.
Jason, first I was wondering about the front bumper. What are the available front bumper configurations? And on this particular rig, is it possible to do, for instance, hydraulic reels, electrical reels? Well, what can be done on that front bumper?
Absolutely, and it's always a big topic is front bumpers here lately. So you can see on this one, we got the F-Shield frame rail material, not your normal 10 gauge steel that you see from some people. And we can do hydraulic reels, cord reels. We've done cross lays in front bumpers. So tons of options that we offer.
I see that you also have the setup for a portable winch on the front there. What kind of capacity is available on that?
Yeah, we normally see 6,000 pound capacity, but with the MVPs, we got so many layouts. There's the sky's the limit when it comes to those.
Is it possible to do a fixed winch on there as well?
Absolutely. I mean, we've made compartments just to store the winch, so we can get real creative with the customer and protect the winch.
Okay, very good. Chris, I'm sure you have some questions as well.
I do. Jason, could you make your way over to the pump panel?
Absolutely.
While Jason's moved.
So we have a
Sorry, I was going to say while Jason's moving over there, Bill and I touched on it a second ago. One of the features of the MVP and many trucks that are being built these days is the narrow pump panel, and there are a variety of ways to do that. But often when you do narrow that pump panel down, there may be some limitations in the pump. So I just was wondering is there a maximum GPM pump that can be spec'd with the MVP?
So currently the one we're looking at now is 2,000 GPM. We can do a 2250 GPM application. Normally we do the 2,000 GPM.
Okay, and we talked about, you don't need to walk back up there, but we talked about some front bumper options a minute ago, and very often the front bumper will have, you know, a hand line or something like that plumbed to it. If you start moving your way a little bit toward the back of the truck, and we look at some of those compartments there as we walk by to the rear hose bed.
Right.
In the video, I noticed that there were two discharges plumbed at the front of the hose bed. Just curious, on the MVP, is it possible to get those discharges plumbed lower, maybe for some pre-connects off the rear?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So what the application we're looking at was with 1,000 water, and that's what we normally get requests on. But we can move these discharges anywhere on the back of the truck. And just keep in mind when you're looking at this is a 1,000-gallon tank. We can do a 750 or 500-gallon layout. Lower the hose bed, put the discharges right in front of you. So there's a lot of different layouts that we can do on this MVP.
So the MVP, clearly, it is then very customizable according to, you know, customer requests.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got hundreds of different layouts. Like Bert said earlier, this is like a flagship product for us, and it's amazing the requests and interest we get in this product year after year. It's just amazing. You can see the low ground ladders. They're right here at chest height, so they're very easy to pull. This demo is kind of ready to be tricked out, so to speak. So that's what we're waiting on, to find a buyer and to sell it.
Okay, great. And one more question for you. Bill, I'll let you go in just a second. One more question for you, and then we'll get to Bill, and then we'll get to some Q&A from the audience. While we're back there, could you just go over real quick what capacity the hose bed is, the different types of hose?
Yeah, so it's 1,200 feet of 5-inch, and 400 feet of 2.5 is what we normally see. But there's a ton of different arrangements that we've done over the past. And like I was saying earlier, you can lower this hose bed, go 750, 500 gallons of water. So there's a lot of, or we can go in between that. So there's a lot of customization to fit any need that we need to on this.
Okay, Bill, you had one more?
Yeah, I have actually a couple. First of all, I like the ladder configuration through the tank. Puts them at a good level where they're usable. Too often we see ladders up way high on a rig, and it makes it almost impossible to get them in service. Just Jason, in that left rear compartment, there are like a slanted configuration back there. I was just wondering what that was used for.
Yeah, so a lot of customers use this for chainsaw application. So we mount the chainsaws here, and we can put the blades and the oil and any safety glasses, any miscellaneous equipment for that right here. Very popular option. While we're talking about the compartments, I'm going to show you something that I normally do at shows. So just to show you the cubic feet of storage, which is over 600 feet, I mean, this thing can store a lot of equipment.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That was one of the other things I noticed, was that lowering the side compartments is an excellent idea. Quite often, people spec rescue trucks and put belly compartments underneath, and my experience with that has not been good. We had in Jersey City, we had them ripped off a couple of times when they extended, but putting the compartment lower like that is a good idea. I was just wondering once again about what the axle capacities are on this particular rig.
So we have a 23 front and a 35,000 pound rear. So that's what we have on the axles.
Excellent. And what's the braking on those axles?
So we have the disc on the front and the S-cam on the rear. And the options can vary from disc to S-cam, however you want to spec it out.
All right, one last question. With 600 cubic feet of compartment space, which is a lot, and 1,000 gallons of water, what is your miscellaneous equipment load calculated on this particular rig? How much weight could it carry as far as the customer putting miscellaneous equipment on there?
We see anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500. It just depends. We've done cascade systems on these, all kind of different layouts. So it just depends on the customer and how we spec the truck out. But good question.
All right, very good. Chris, back to you.
Okay, perfect. We do have a number of questions coming in. Don't forget, if you do have a question, there is an Ask a Question box on your screen that you can ask. We'll be taking questions for a few more minutes on this rig. Jason, if you could start to make your way toward the front of the truck again, we have a question for that. But before I ask that question, Bert, it was important yesterday. I'm going to cut back to the front desk there. Bert, it was important yesterday when we started to talk about multiplexing that we discussed a bit about the E2020 system. Could you go through that again for us? Because I believe both of these rigs are using it.
Yeah, so this is the new E2020 electrical system on here. It is a multiplex system that we developed along with our partners at IDEX. So this takes the best of the Weldon VMUX system and the Class 1 S-Key system, and we combine the great features of those two systems, and they've developed software that allows them to communicate. So it makes it a very flexible system for us. As well, we did some things with locating the nodes where it's a lot of easy maintenance on the truck. So we have a lot of customers wanting, worrying about maintenance, but also want flexibility in the electrical system.
Okay, thank you. If we can cut back to Jason now, we have a question for you, Jason. It's a pretty specific one. It is talking about the light bar on the roof of the cab. The question is, what is the black vertical item just behind the light bar on the roof of the cab?
So that's a new day type spotlight that Wheeling has come out with, and it's remote controlled from the interior. Good question.
Okay. Regarding, why don't you make your way over toward the pump panel again? I have a few questions about the pump and some of the plumbing. First of all, it was I don't recall if it was mentioned in the video or not. I think it might have been, but could you go over a little bit about how to access the inside of the pump? The question is, how do you access the inside of the pump? Do you have to remove the speed lays, and how much room do you have to work?
Absolutely. So I wish I could do it now. You can remove these speed lays, and you and Bill could get in this access area and work on this pump. I mean, it's wide open. Compared to any other pumper, it's the easiest to work on.
Okay, and the pump type. Have a question here. Is it possible to spec this with other pump manufacturers as well?
Absolutely. We have a layout with Waters, and we've been working with Darley on a layout also. So we're not locked into hell.
Okay. A specific question about that pump panel. What is the size of that pump panel?
I'm going to have to phone a friend. I believe it's 43 or 44 inches. But we've done them up to 36, and 36 to 58, it varies.
Okay, and just like yesterday, we're getting interest.
33 inches, Bert? 33 inches.
Say that again, just so everybody could hear it. I think I might have stepped on you.
No, that's my bad. 33 inches, this footprint.
Okay.
And this got the new Elkhart control, so that's what threw me off. This.
Okay, here is one from a viewer who's asking about Sam. Imagine that this week, talking about as much as we've talked about Sam. Is it possible to add the SAM pump control system to the MVP?
Yes, sir. We can add that, and we've had some requests, so we do have some layouts on the MVP with the SAM system. I'll see that soon. We'll have some in production.
Okay, moving on down the body just slightly, there's a pull-out tray below the saw storage. We have a question. What is the pull-out tray in L3 below the saw storage?
So in B1,
this is the problem when we get this specific. Okay.
so there's a rollout tray in B1 that's 500-pound capacity, and also this saw box rolls out. We can absolutely put a rollout tray on the bottom here if wanted.
Okay. This person writes in, I've not seen a right-hand side hydraulic ladder rack. Does Ferrara offer it? Is it your own, or is that one a Zyco?
Yes, we can offer that, and it is a Zyco, and we have done that on MVPs.
Okay. The question comes in, you mentioned a 35,000-pound suspension on the rear. What is the make and model of that suspension?
We offer Meritor or Dana. This is a Meritor.
Okay. And just to reiterate that 2.5-inch discharge, it's mentioned in the video, it's in the rear. The person wanted to know, is that at the front of the hose bed or in the main hose bed area? As I recall, on this particular unit, it was in the main hose bed area. But as we discussed before, that can be plumbed somewhere else. So maybe it's on the outside of the hose bed.
Yeah, Chris, you're translating me good. You must download that app. But yeah, it's in the pre-connect front hose bed. But we've done blitz in the back. We've done all kind of arrangements.
Okay, since you are there, I've got a question here regarding the ladder tunnel. Is the ladder tunnel fully enclosed, and what size ladders can you store in the tunnel?
So the ladder tunnel here, this is a normal NFPA complement, but we have had a run of 28-foot and 35-foot requests, and we have done those.
Okay, and rounding this out just about here, what is the largest tank available on the MVP?
The most we've done is 1,000. We have laid out 1,250, but we haven't had a buyer on that yet, but 1,000 is what we commonly use. We also have laid it out on a commercial chassis. So there's hundreds of different layouts that we can do on the MVP.
Okay, Jason, well, thank you very, very much. You're off the hook for now. If we could not get to your question during this segment, again, this will be on demand, and you can also visit immediately following our 2 walkarounds today. You can visit the showroom and make an appointment to talk with a Rev representative to get any other questions that you have answered. What I'd like to do now is let Paul get set up on his truck on the other side, and let's roll the video on St. George, and Paul will be with you in a few.
Here's a new Ferrara Cinder custom pumper built for St. George Fire District, located in the city of St. George, Louisiana. This is one of a 12-truck order for 10 custom pumpers and 2 HD77 rear-mount area ladders. These will all be built on Ferrara's heavy-duty Cinder custom fire chassis. This truck measures only 31 feet long and has a travel height of just 9 foot 5 inches, built on a short 182-inch wheelbase. It has a 1,000-gallon poly tank plus 2 10-gallon foam cells. This truck is powered with a Cummins L9 450 horsepower engine and has a medium-length cab with seating for 5 using Bostrom Securall SCBA brackets. And check out this front bumper. It's built to beat the fire and the heat. The officer and center hose trays accommodate a 150-foot jump line, and there's an insulated ice chest on the driver's side. St. George customized their body with over 200 cubic feet of compartment storage. The left side compartments are full height, while the right side are 3/4 height with a Zyco quick lift ladder rack. There's long-handled tool storage left side above the high side compartments with lift-up doors accessed from the hose bed. Driver's side has an access door to the dunnage area, which, in addition to storage, also contains a Harrison 6kW generator and an Akron 3440 Deckmaster electric monitor. The tank is L-shaped for easy reloading of hose. This massive hose bed will carry 1,500 feet of 5-inch plus 2 separate lays of 300 foot by 2.5 inch. Both of the 2.5-inch lines are pre-connected at the front of the hose bed and have a primary 200-foot lay with an additional 100 foot stored underneath. A new safety feature is incorporated into the body with car detection sensors in each running board area and each side of the rear tailboard. These sensors are wired into LED indicator lights ahead of the driver and officer and are there to assist when making a lane change. The pump is a Hale QMax 1500 GPM featuring IDEX Fire and Safety's SAM pump control system with 10-inch touchscreen displays on the left and right side pump panels. Valves are all electric actuated with Hale 6-inch MIVs at the steamer inlets, while gated valves use Akron Navigators plumbed to all stainless steel piping. Discharges include 2 speed lays with reloading trays, a right side LDH discharge, the deck gun with electric monitor, a front bumper discharge, and the 2 hose bed 2.5-inch pre-connects. The 1,000-gallon tank also includes 2 10-gallon foam cells plumbed to the Hale Smart Foam 3.3 for Class A or Class B foam capability to the front bumper discharge and both speed lays. Let's look inside the St. George Cinder cab. This is Ferrara's 54-inch medium-length model with seating for 5 and an equipment mounting plate on top of the engine tunnel. This 96-inch wide cab starts with a roll cage welded extruded aluminum subframe. To this tough, heavy-duty structure we weld 3/16-inch thick marine-grade aluminum alloy plate. The double-wall cab face, roof, side and rear walls, floor, engine tunnel, and exterior door skins are all 3/16 of an inch thick. And heavy duty doesn't stop with the cab structure. Regardless of chassis model, Ferrara uses an all-aluminum interior with no plastic. The cab dash is made from welded aluminum and brush-finished black aluminum instrument and switch panels. The overhead console, glove box, and inner door panels are also aluminum. Thanks for watching our St. George Custom Pumper video. Now let's quickly recap the high points of this truck. This is built on our Cinder heavy-duty custom fire chassis with an L9 450 horsepower engine. The cab and body are built using Ferrara's heavy-duty extruded aluminum subframe with 3/16-inch thick marine-grade aluminum plate. The cab is a medium length for a short wheelbase and has seating for 5. The body has over 200 cubic feet of storage plus 139 feet of hosebed storage. The pump is a Hale QMax 1500 GPM powered by IDEX Fire and Safety's SAM pump control system. The 1,000-gallon L-shaped water tank includes 2 10-gallon foam cells plumbed to a Hale 3.3 Smart Foam. And this is part of a 12-truck order for 10 custom pumpers and 2 HD77 rear-mount aerials. Like what you see? Call your local Ferrara dealer today or send an email at the address at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, we are back again. And as we discussed early in the program and a little bit before the MVP, both of these trucks I really do think encapsulate what a number of trends in the fire service today. In this one, it's not only the incorporation of technology, but it is also that putting a lot of water on the truck and still being able to maintain that shorter wheelbase. And we'll get into a bit of that in a minute. What's interesting talking to Paul yesterday from the technology side is that as he mentions in the video, this is one truck of a 12 truck order, 2 ladders, which are quints, and then the 10 pumpers. Every one of them has the SAM system on it. Which is, I think significant just in light of the fact that, that's a pretty healthy piece of technology for people to acquaint themselves with. It will work fine once you get all acclimated to it. But such a commitment to it really says a lot about St. George. So, Bill, just to get us started off, what were some of your first impressions of the rig?
Well, Chris, it was very interesting. It looks like that the truck committee put a lot of time and effort into speccing a rig that would work for them. And as you said, from a large order like that, it's really good that they put that much time and effort into it. I like the idea. It's a short rig, short wheelbase. It looks like a real working unit. That's my first impressions on this St. George. And there were quite a few features that were mentioned in the video that we'll get to when we do our Q&A.
Well, let's cut to it. Hopefully Paul is ready right there. Yeah, there he is. He's standing at the front of the truck. I know you had some questions about that front bumper, Bill. Why don't we get started with you?
Sure. Hey, good morning, Paul. Hey, I was wondering about the ice chest. Being right now in New Jersey, it's about 99 degrees, so I could use an ice chest as well. But I hadn't heard about that on a pumper before. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Well, you think a lot of times when we deliver trucks that are going up north, we do a lot of coffee makers on them because wintertime, working a car accident on the highway, going to be out there, it's nice to have a little cup of coffee, warm you up. In Louisiana, beastly hot in the summertime, what would be better than being at a car accident for a couple hours, being able to grab a nice bottle of cold water, some ice in there, cool you off, get back to work. So that's the thought behind that. Also up here at the front bumper, we've got 2 trays. They're going to flake 150 feet of 1 3/4 hose in here. Really compact front bumper, only 18-inch extension, so you got a lot going on. In addition to the discharge and the hose tray and the cooler, we've got a Q, couple of speakers, tow eyes, dock bumpers, air horns, all on a heavy-duty 3/8-inch thick steel bumper.
Looks really good. I like the idea of the dock bumpers. Jersey City started putting them on as well. We had old school. We had a fire one time where the pumper had to push a police car out of the way to get to a hydrant. So dock bumpers would come in handy with that. Let's see what else.
Right.
The voiceover guy in the video, who sounds very familiar, had spent.
Yeah, who is that guy?
Gee, beats me. But he mentioned a car detection system, and I understand it's actually a blind spot indicator. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that, because I think that's really a great feature, especially working in the city.
It's from RSV, a Safe Fleet company. So there's a couple of indicators on the cab, and basically a blind spot indicator alerts the driver. There's a left hand and a right hand indicator light on the front dash that'll come on if he's about to make a lane change and there's a car occupying that lane.
That's a heck of a good feature. And something that I always get into is what about the axle and suspension capacity on the rig? You got 200 cubic feet of compartment space. What's your equipment allowance, and what kind of axles are you using?
We've got Meritor axles, 20,000 pound front, 27,000 pound rear, so 47,000 total GVW. All right, and loaded up with the full water tank, you're still going to have much more than your 2,000 pounds mandated by 1901 for equipment carrying. So you're going to be able to carry significantly more than that. But again, we've got a lot of compartment space on here, 3/4 height on the passenger side, full height on the driver's side, plus an upper body compartment on the driver's side.
Yeah, I noticed that. And what is the braking on the axles?
Standard with across the St. George fleet is S-cam front and rear brakes.
Okay, well, standardizing on one type of brakes, I'm sure, enhances their maintenance capabilities. Oh, Chris, I'm sure you have some questions. Why don't you pick it up?
Sure. Before I get into too many specific things about the truck, I wanted to ask just, this truck has a 1,000 gallon water tank on it. You were able to maintain that short wheelbase in addition to providing the 200 cubic feet of compartment space. Could you just talk to me a little bit about the challenges in engineering, that much water onto a short wheelbase truck? We often talk about, apparatus design being a give and take. You want one thing over here, you usually have to take something else from over there. It doesn't appear that you had to do that as much with this truck in order to provide that water capacity. Could you just talk a little bit about the challenges there?
Sure. Well, of course, with the pump control system that's on this truck, all the valves are electric actuated, so we don't need any room for linkages or anything like that. So you notice we're able to really compact that pump panel and get you speed lays ahead of the panel behind the cab. So you still have a really significant wide compartment here ahead of the rear wheels, which also creates room for us to fit that 1,000 gallon tank in. It's a T-shaped tank, so we have split depth compartments, 12 inches deep in the upper, 25 inches deep in the lower. And L-shaped tank as well, so we get a nice look at the back of the truck.
Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions about the SAM system on this truck, and then in the order. You and I talked a little bit yesterday, so we cheated a little bit on this, but we talked a little bit yesterday about that full order. And you mentioned to me that SAM was available on all of them. I guess specifically about this truck, does this truck have the remote control for SAM? And also on the Quints, does SAM control the aerials monitor on them?
To answer the first question, yes, they do have the tablet that they can control the pump remotely. And to answer the second question, you can control the aerial waterway discharge valve. We don't have the controls for the monitor on the remote.
Okay, and a couple.
So in other words, not up, down, left, right off of the tablet.
Okay, a couple of more specific questions for this on the.
But yeah, that is coming.
Okay. Okay. Couple of more specific questions about some of the stuff on the truck. You don't have to walk over to it, but I think I saw a Trident air primer on the pump panel on the officer side. Is that correct?
Negative. With the pump control system, everything is going to come from Hale. So it's going to be Hale primer, Hale intake valve, of course, Akron valves, the IDEX family.
Okay,
but it is a push button primer.
Okay, and what was the GPM of the monitor on this truck?
This monitor is rated at 1,250 GPM, and it's got the nozzle on it that's capable of going either fog pattern or smooth bore.
Okay, with that, I would like to jump into the Q&A we've got going here. Again, this has been a great conversation today. We have a lot of questions coming in about this. Let's see here. First of all, is the 10-inch screen for SAM the maximum size, or are there different size options for that?
There's one size right now.
Okay. Let's see here. Can you get an X12 engine in a Cinder?
No, if you had an X12, that would be an Inferno chassis, which is our big block chassis. The Cinder is built around a 9-liter engine platform.
Okay. There are some small square louvered screens on both the pump panels, and what are they for? One is the lower rear, and there are two on the right-hand pump panel, top rear and lower front. Could you talk about them?
Yeah, those are speakers, and they will give you feedback as you are operating the pump. So if you are doing good, you may not hear any feedback. If you have something going on where you need attention, you will get a warning.
Okay, we might have to phone a friend. We had to do this once or twice last week. But off the top of your head, do you remember what the height is of the hose bed on those rigs?
I am going to phone a friend, actually, as I make my way to the back of the truck. Or I can get my fire truck tape measure. 78 inches, 78, 79 inches.
Okay.
So for a 1,000-gallon tank, still a very low hose bed on that compact wheelbase.
Chris, a quick question. One I asked yesterday. Paul, you want to tell us about the SAM system in inclement weather and working with a gloved hand? Because I know that was something that in teaching apparatus purchasing at FDIC, several people had asked that about that, and at the time I didn't know what the answer was. So why don't you tell us that?
Right. So the SAM screen is built to withstand all the conditions that we have when we're operating a fire apparatus. So, you know, water certainly, with a gloved hand certainly, and even when you have ice in the wintertime, you do have a heated screen that will defrost, defog.
Excellent. And gloves, not a problem, you said. Yes, so you can operate those slide controls?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, Chris.
Sticking with the SAM system, are there any overrides for the electric valves? That always comes up whenever we're talking about whether it be electrically operated valves with the toggle switches or whether we're talking about SAM. There's always a concern that, you know, should there be an issue with the truck, is there a way to get those valves open or closed if necessary?
There is. So we got an access door. Obviously the entire pump panel is hinged, but you do have an access door, and you can get there and you can put a wrench on any one of the valves and open it from the side panel here.
Okay. Well, we are nearing the end of our hour here. We've gone through just about all the Q&A from our audience here. Just in terms of starting to wrap up here, I wanted to go through what we're going to have later on today. We've got a webinar coming up, financing apparatus and purchasing options. Make sure you come back for that. Right after this, we're going to have time for you to touch base with Rev Group personnel to get some of your questions answered. There were, over the past couple days, we've gotten some questions from Q&A regarding pricing and things like that. Those types of questions are better answered by the Rev Group in those individual meetings. So make sure you take advantage of that, and of course explore the platform. Wanted to throw it back over to the front desk there to see if Alyssa or Bert or both have any parting words for us today. This is the second day of our live events for Ferrara. So take it away, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna give Bert a break here. He's been talking all day, and it's hard to get a word in edgewise with this group here. But we just want to thank everybody for tuning in to our Ferrara week. We hope that you got a glimpse inside of the capabilities that Ferrara can do and their customization. We just want to thank everybody for getting online, getting on all of the on-demand content. Just remember that all of the truck information that you need is available to download on revtruckexpo.com, as well as the event portal. And we just want you to tune in next week as we have KME in studio with us. We've got another 4 amazing trucks that we're going to show you next week. And just don't forget to go on the portal. If you have any other questions, you can schedule meetings with these guys, and we're here to answer your questions.
And also, Chris, just thanks again to Warminster and the St. George Fire Department for allowing us to use their rigs here today for our show. And thanks to everyone at Clarion for helping us put this on. We appreciate you guys.
Yes,
Absolutely not a problem at all. We've been loving it. This is our first time using this kind of platform, and we've really enjoyed being able to bring this content to everyone. I would also like to thank, before I get out of here today, our other speakers today, Jason Luke. He did a fantastic job today. Paul Christensen also, he was up 3 times over the past 2 days, plus all the voiceovers for the video. So thank you also, Paul. And of course, our expert today, Bill Peters. Bill, thank you for taking time out of taking time away from your grandson, who's been running your rag. And I'm surprised you've been able to keep your eyes open through the whole thing. So thank you again for that. Also, don't forget, next week, we also have an FDIC webinar coming up. This is FDIC-powered education for you. It's called Proven Truck Tactics that might surprise you. That's going to be on Monday of next week. So again, Chris McClune here for the Rev Fire Group Apparatus Conference and Expo. I thank everyone for coming today. Thanks for the great conversation over the past 2 days. We'll see you next week for KME. Stay safe and have a good one.